Sonia believed she had found her dream man. Leslie was everything she prayed for. Their families knew each
Don't
other.
worry.
Everything felt
One day
aligned.
we'll build
In her
our
heart,
own
it was
home.
only a matter of
I
time
believe you.
before marriage happened. Then one day, he traveled abroad. But that didn't scare her. If anything, it gave her hope. She believed, when he becomes stable, he will come back for me. She kept visiting his family, checking in, staying connected, holding on to a future that felt so certain. Then suddenly, he stopped calling, stopped replying. No explanation, no warning, just silence. She tried everything: calls, messages, social media. She even asked his family. But no one understood. No one had answers. For 2 years, she struggled. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Just trying to survive the heartbreak. Then she heard something devastating. Leslie had asked his parents to marry another woman for him. No explanation. No closure. Just replacement. One day, his mother invited her to a family gathering. Maybe closure? Or he finally understood his wrongdoings. Perhaps she will have a reasonable explanation. She was about to be disappointed again and again. But instead, she saw another woman. Another future wife. That was the moment. She walked away and told herself, this is more than clear. I was just a chapter in his life and not the whole book. Months later, she called her friend on phone, to whom she recounted all, and her friend Stacy gave her an outstanding advice that made all the difference. When someone shows you your place in their lives, respect that. It's the least you can do, and do not rob them of the right to choose. It doesn't matter how much you love him. True love realizes it doesn't withhold. She convinced herself that was never meant to be. Then she met someone new. A doctor. Kind. Caring. Present. Everything Leslie wasn't. This time, she didn't question it. The emotional fog was gone. So she believed, this must be real love. But she never stopped to ask, what does a real marriage actually require? They built a life together. She got pregnant. They had twins. She was happy. She thought she made the right choice. But something felt off. He introduced her as the mother of my children, not my wife. To him, those were two different things. Then the truth came out. He wasn't fully hers. There was another woman. Not officially, but emotionally. He laughed more with her, shared more with her. This wasn't just cheating. It was something deeper. A lack of conviction. A man, not fully decided. He assumed he had more in common with her than Sonia, the one with whom he had children. Because marriage is not just love. It's a decision. He could have married her and still behaved the same way. Because the real problem was this: he didn't understand what it meant to be a husband. Commitment and vows was a language he quite did not understand nor fully take stands with and accept as a way of life. He could have married her and still behaved the same way. Because the real problem was this: he didn't understand what it meant to be a husband. The problem is not love. The problem is lack of preparation, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding of what marriage truly is. This is why
the doctor's emotional attachment to another woman shattered something deep inside Sonia. She had survived one heartbreak before and promised herself she would never cry over another man again. Yet here she was, questioning everything she believed about love and marriage. By day, she smiled for her twins. She cooked, cleaned, played with them. But every night, after putting them to bed, she cried alone. She wasn't just asking whether the doctor loved another woman. She was beginning to wonder whether she had ever truly understood what marriage required. One afternoon, while hanging clothes outside, her neighbor Daniela called her over. Daniela herself was going through a painful divorce. When Sonia poured out her heart, Daniela didn't encourage her to rebuild her family. Instead she said, "Men are ungrateful. Never depend on a man. Get a government job. Respect comes when people need your signature." Those words stayed with Sonia. She left believing financial independence would solve what was broken in her relationship. So she applied for the National Police recruitment. When she shared the idea with the doctor, he supported her. He helped complete the application. They hired a nanny to care for the twins while Sonia prepared. For a while, everything seemed hopeful. But as the months passed, the doctor's support slowly disappeared. Arguments replaced encouragement. He complained that she spent too much time studying. He gradually withdrew his financial support. Discouraged and exhausted, Sonia turned to her mother, Cecile. After listening to her complaints one evening, Cecile quietly said, "You've prayed. You've cried. You've waited. I know someone who can help." Sonia looked at her mother with a mixture of confusion, hope and desperation. She had no idea that desperation often opens doors conviction would never choose. Before sunrise the following Saturday, mother and daughter left the city together. Neither of them spoke. Sonia believed she was traveling toward the answer to her problems. She had no idea her next decision would change the course of her life. When Sonia and her mother arrived at the hidden compound, she stepped into a place completely unfamiliar to her. The quiet surroundings, the old trees, the atmosphere. Everything felt different. An elderly traditional practitioner sat beneath a large tree waiting. Before Sonia explained anything, he began speaking about her life. Her disappointments. Her unanswered prayers. Her desire for respect. Her longing for a different future. Every word seemed to describe the pain she had been carrying. Sonia wondered how someone she had never met could know so much. Then he told her, "The gods of Akito can open doors for you. But first, you must undergo spiritual cleansing." Sonia hesitated. Deep inside, she remembered the faith she had grown up with. She remembered prayer. She remembered trusting God. But years of disappointment had weakened her confidence. Her pain was louder than her conviction. She was no longer asking, "Is this the right path?" She was asking, "Will this finally change my life?" She followed the instructions given to her, believing she was simply searching for a breakthrough. When everything was completed, the traditional practitioner told her, "Go. Your path has been opened." Sonia and her mother returned home quietly. Weeks later, the government announced nationwide recruitment into the National Police Service. Thousands of people applied. The process was intense. Medical examinations, physical tests, written assessments, interviews. At every stage, many candidates were eliminated. But Sonia continued forward. Stage after stage. Against the odds, her name remained on the successful lists. Then the final results were released. Her name was there. She had been selected. Her family celebrated. Neighbors admired her determination. Everyone saw a woman who had worked hard and achieved her dream. Months later, after demanding police training, Sonia stood proudly among the graduating officers. The uniform represented a new beginning. For the first time in years, she felt respected. People treated her differently. Doors opened. Her voice carried more authority. She believed all her struggles had finally brought her to a better place. Life slowly settled into a new routine. The doctor went to the hospital. Sonia went to police duty. The nanny cared for the twins while both parents worked. The children laughed, played, and went to school like every other child. From the outside, they looked like a successful family. A doctor. A police officer. Healthy children. A comfortable home. But something subtle was changing inside Sonia. She began enjoying the respect that came with her position. She noticed how people treated her differently because of her uniform. Slowly, her confidence began shifting. She no longer only saw herself as a woman with value. She began attaching her value to her position, influence, and recognition. The change did not happen overnight. It happened quietly. Sonia's life was no longer what it used to be. The timid young woman who once cried herself to sleep had become a respected police officer. People greeted her with honor. Neighbors admired her. Her uniform opened doors. For the first time in years, She felt important. Without realizing it, her confidence slowly became attached to her position instead of her identity. She enjoyed the respect, the influence, the recognition. Life seemed to be moving forward. Yet there was one dream that remained unfinished. Although she and the doctor had built a home together, raised their twins and shared life's responsibilities, he continued postponing their traditional marriage. Every family gathering came with the same question. When will he finally pay your bride price? There was always another excuse. Another delay. Another promise that next year would be different. Deep inside, Sonia wanted one thing more than anything else. She wanted to hear him proudly say, "This is my wife." Eventually, the pressure became too much. Quietly, she began contributing her own money toward the bride price. She convinced herself it didn't matter who paid. If it would finally make her his wife, then it was worth every sacrifice. At last, the traditional marriage ceremony took place. Families gathered. Traditional dancers filled the compound. Music echoed through the village. The elders blessed their union. For the first time, the doctor publicly introduced Sonia as his wife. The title she had longed for had finally become reality. Not long afterward, Sonia became pregnant again. Months later, they welcomed their third child into the family. Their home became even busier. The twins grew into energetic children. Their younger brother followed them everywhere. Every morning followed the same rhythm. The doctor left for the hospital. Sonia prepared for police duty. The nanny helped the children get ready for school. From the outside, everything looked perfect. Neighbors admired them. A doctor. A police officer. 3 healthy children. A beautiful home. Many people wished they had a family like theirs. But photographs only capture smiles. They never reveal the silent battles hidden behind them. Years quietly passed. The twins were now 14 years old. Their younger brother had turned 9. Life appeared to be moving forward. The children were healthy. They laughed together, went to school every morning, and filled the house with life. Sonia continued serving as a respected police officer. The doctor remained committed to his medical profession. From the outside, they looked like a family that had overcome every storm. A doctor. A police officer. 3 healthy children. A beautiful home. The kind of family many people admired and wished they had. But beneath the smiles, something invisible had already begun. Then, without warning, the dream started. Night after night, Sonia found herself standing once again in the same compound where her mother had taken her years earlier. The same ancient trees. The same quiet atmosphere. The same altar she thought she had left behind forever. In the dream, she saw her own children standing before that altar. She screamed their names. She ran toward them with everything she had. But before she could reach them, she would suddenly wake up. Her heart racing. Her body trembling. Covered in sweat. She sat on her bed trying to understand what she had just seen. Every dream felt real. Every dream left her with the same fear. But each morning she convinced herself it was nothing. Maybe I'm just exhausted. Maybe work is affecting my sleep. Maybe I'm simply thinking too much. She ignored the dreams. She never stopped to ask whether they were warnings. Sometimes, life whispers before it screams. But when we ignore the whispers, we often meet the consequences unprepared. Around that same season, the family welcomed a young man from their home village into their house. His name was Chove. He was 27 years old. Like many young men searching for a better future, he came hoping Sonia and the doctor would help him start a business and build a better life. They welcomed him with open arms. They trusted him. They gave him a place in their home. To them, he was family. Every morning, life followed the same routine. The doctor left for the hospital. Sonia reported for police duty. The children went to school. The nanny remained at home, preparing meals, cleaning the house and caring for the family. Chof stayed behind, patiently waiting for the opportunity they had promised him. Everything looked ordinary. Everything looked safe. No one questioned his presence. No one imagined that the greatest danger was no longer outside their home. It was already living inside it. While Sonia focused on promotions, projects, household responsibilities, and the daily demands of life, a different battle was quietly unfolding under her own roof. The dreams she kept dismissing, the warning she never understood, and the stranger they had welcomed with open arms, were all moving toward the same heartbreaking moment. Because sometimes, the greatest danger is not the enemy you can see. It is the one you trust without question. And Sonia had no idea that the next chapter of her life would become the most painful one she had ever faced.